week 8, where we are discussing social action. So today the topic is about the elements of social action and then assumptions we are going to discuss on today's lecture. So once you look into the elements of social action, so here is about the causes of social action, is about the change agent, change target, and then change strategy. So these are the four very important elements of social action. Let's discuss one by one. Cause. So, in the context of the social action, cause refers to specific issues or the problem that change agents such as the activist or the organizer or the social movement or any one of you aim to address. Right? It's seen as a key element in the process of the social change because it serves the social focal point around which the whole efforts and strategies are being organized. So what is the cause? So that is what the center of the overall activities of the social action. So this cause typically represent a perceived need for social improvement or transformation. So that is what maybe you or the community member perceive that cause need to be addressed, right? So this could involve the kind of addressing injustice, providing solutions to societal issues, or advocating for some kind of the rights and welfare of the marginalized groups and marginalized communities. The change agent actually believe that by relying support for the causes, they can mobilize collective action and create the necessary condition for change. So causes of social action could be helping cause, protest cause, revolutionary cause. So just you have to look into that. Either the cause could be resolved through by some helping to the community member, or through some kind of the protest is required, or some kind of the revolutionary overall the system, um, you know altogether change of the system required. So depending upon these, so helping the victims of the social maladies concerned with provisions of aid, uh, comfort or education. So if it is only the clients and the clientele of the community need some kind of the some kinds of the support system because of some social maladies. So you could do that through some kind of the providing some kind of comfort through some kind of educations or some kind of depending on the cause, you can actually work on into that. And it is you can, if you realize this is at micro level interventional aspect of the social action. And if the identifying individual solution which contribute most of the social problems and altering their behavior. So also it's also important to identify the where to modification is required, or altering into the behavior of the institutions or to the individuals is required. It's also important to identify individual institution which contribute most of the social problems and eliminating them. So now it's about the revolutionary cause. If it is the you identify that it's because of the whole system has been creating some issues, so that need to revolutionary cause that need to be overthrown that whole already existing system and to bring the new one. Next is about change agent. Change agent is what is an individual, it could be an organization whose primary mission is to drive social changes by advancing or specific social causes. Change agent plays a pivotal role in social action by actively working to address social problems and push or actually improvements or transforming the overall social, political, or the economic system. They are the catalysts. To that they help to move from the identifying a problem to actually taking concrete steps towards solving those problems. So change agents, it could be you, it could be any organization. So the its primary mission is to advance a social issue, to working into that social issues. Next is about the change strategy. It's about the change strategy refers to the specific approach that actually method or a method that to bring changes by the agent, and that maybe that influences the behavior or belief or action of the change target. So here it's about the basic mode of influence adopted by the change agent to affect the change target. So change strategy is the mode or is the specific approach. So it attempts to provide behavioral compliances or cooperation in the change target through the use of agency controlled sanctions, not belief value modification, creating desired behavior through authority. So it could be depending upon micro to the macro level, or the minor to the major level of intervention if it is required. Even at just to value modification, if it is required, so it could be done. If it is needed some kind of authority or the force, or some kind of the overall change into the system, so that is through the some kind of the force or authority or some legal enactment. It attempts to induce the desired behavior in the change target through the social object. Pursuing the desired behavior serves the natural interest of the change agent target through social, emotional, moral appeals. Family planning is one example we can here added, we can discuss. So it's about to bringing the behavioral changes, right? Next is it attempts to induce the desired behavior in the change target through internalization of new belief or value. That is what, if you bring some kind of the new belief system, new behavioral aspect, so that is targeted towards more permanent change of the social action. So change agent is that you have to do these pointers, and then change strategy. I mean, depending upon the cause, depending upon the situation, depending upon the target, you can actually modify into your strategy. You can go with the strategy from minor to the major aspect, from simply just bringing the value modifications to the force, or to going to the larger aspect. Maybe it could be the smaller aspect of the society, it could be on the family planning aspect, and it goes up to the some larger permanent behavioral modification could be. So depending upon the change agent and depending upon the strategy, the overall the whole aspect has been changed of the social action. Next is about the change target. So what is the change target? It refers to the individual, groups, organization or system that change agent seeks to influences or transform. So it is a ways in which influences and response can be transmitted between change agents and the change targets. Media influences, response channels, personal influences, response channels. So here is the change target, means to whom you are working with and how you have to intervene with those, what kind of the media you are going to use that. So that is what the, and again there's a choices with channel of influences and responses, depends on the nature of the target. If it is the, if you're working with the sub tribal communities, you cannot go with the mass media because they are not so much into that, but if you're working with some kind of the urban issues and urban problems, you can go with some kind of the mass media, you can take the help of the mass media. So what is the nature of the target, you can brought modification into the channels, or you can modify into the influencing, how you can going to influence those targeted. So those change target could be the any individual, any group of institution that designated as a target of the change efforts. Victims of offending institutions, for helping cause, target is client system. For protest means for helping cause, I mean that is what we have already discussed, helping cause. It could be any client system at the micro level. So it could be any person of the community member or any small group of the community. So that is what you need some kind of the helping, or to provide some kind of the help, or to support them. And then next is about the uh, when the target is client system. Next is the for protest cause, the target is the power system. When things is at goes at to the mid level, at the meso level, sometimes at the macro level. So here is the protest is required when there is a problem in the power structure. When there is a power structure problem, so you can go with the protest cause, means you have to go with the kind of some larger modes of strategy. Next is for revolutionary cause, the target is enemy system. The enemy system here is again at the supra system. It's talking about the macro to macro system. It's about the government policies, the business and professionals, also some at the larger level if it is required to be bring some kind of the changes. So this is what considered to be the enemy system, where the two parties is standing. I mean, you have to ask to another party for the support system, or maybe some kind of the changes in their behavior, changes in their own outlook, and changes into the overall policy. So this you could do through some kind of the revolutionary causes. Maybe you can take the example of Chipko movement. So or in present day there are a lot of the hue and cry, there's a lot of the conflicts has been between the corporate and then farmers around the land requisition. So and this could be done through the revolutionary cause. I mean, the people have to come, and mass mobilization is required. And here is about the enemy system. There's two parties who is one is holding the power and another is struggling to get the power into their own hands. So this is what the at the macro level. So this is all about the system or the elements of the social chain. First is about the cause, for what cause you are actually fighting for. Then the change agent who are actually bringing change into that, either it is any organization, agency, or even the government agency, or any international agencies are involved into bringing change. Then change strategy. Now what kind of the strategy you are actually planning to bring change into the to the target. So that is about the strategy. Again, strategy is depending upon the nature of the problem, the nature of the cause. Then it's about the change target, whom you are actually working with. Either it is for the through the enemy system, or through some kind of the power system, or it is through some kind of the client system. So either it is a client or the system or the structure where you actually have to work. So now coming to the assumptions of the social action. So looking into the assumptions of the social action, assumptions are regarding the present power structure. The very first larger assumption is around the present power structure. It has been believed that the power or democracy feels that contemporary democratic system, in the contemporary democratic system, operating for the belief of the most groups and consider the existing social structure fundamentally sound and responsive to the people's needs. Whether it is true or not, that's the matter of concern. So experience shows that government usually is necessarily, to most of the time, is in the hand of the few, and the government has become a power center for few with a vested interest to maintain the status quo of the microscopic minority. So politics and government is power centers through with the rich and then powerful exercises control over the weak and then poor. So this is what the assumption regarding the present power structure is, that from the Indian perspective, that power structure is in the hand of the few, the few elites, and then majority, and that is in definitely in the minority. Majority of the masses is not having any kind of the power structure. With this assumption, the social action actually move with and actually grounded with. Next is assumption regarding the nature of social welfare delivery mechanism. So this and after even the industrial revolution and all, brought many benefits, and after this whole globalization and privatization, but some out of this some benefits, many people also fell behind, right? So they became the victims of the industrial revolutions and then globalization and privatization, and they needed to be the help to survive. So overall, this assumption regards the nature of social welfare delivery mechanism is so important, because even after the whole economic growth, everyone is not in the queue to get, or everyone is not getting their due, um, in the part of being part of that that space, being sharing the same space, being sharing the same geography, being sharing the same welfare state. Even they are not getting their due. So this is another assumption. We are going with the social actions movement. Next is assumption regarding the economic growth. So this economic growth is this assumption says that it's not necessarily that with the economic growth the social equality has been there, social justice has been there, human rights been there. So this economic growth is important. This assumption also says that economic growth is important, but with this economic growth we cannot be assured that everyone is economically empowered. So the equality has to be brought in this with this assumption, that we have to work on this we have to go and we have to work on basis of this assumption that that there are economic growth, but not necessarily that everyone is getting the equality. The assumption regarding the welfare state. The welfare state is said to be includes all government functions that lead to the intervention in the society for the sake of securing human well-being, with the exceptions of military intervention. But what is nature of these interventions? The social service are product of and responsive to social order that value economic growth and political stability, about human well-being, and use social services and other helping professions, try to actually preserve and strengthen the ideology, behavior, and structure of the status quo. Impoverishing group remains despite the welfare state is been there. So welfare state is there, but is that everyone is getting all the welfare fruits? So that is what the assumption we are going with. Assumption regarding the nature of human problem. So usually the welfare needs of the people can arise because of many personal drawbacks, of the shortcomings of the needies. They are caused by the inherent defects in their social system. Social actions actually situated the problem of human rights and injustice in a systematic perspective. Personal troubles and public issues are interlinked. It must be understood in terms of the public issues. So nature of the human problem somewhere in the social structure, because we have taken the social system into account. So many a time we have to go with this assumption that the human problem is because of the some kind of the dysfunctional aspect of the social system, and then there's some kind of the disbalance in the power structure and inequality and social social justice has not been prevailing. So because of these reasons the problems has been there, because one problem we can take the example of the poverty. So poverty is because of the imbalance in the or inequitable distribution of the wealth, is the poverty is there. And so once the because of this particular problem of the poverty, there are many other problem has been arised, right? So this assumption says that if you look into this, the nature of the human problem somewhere in the social structure and the social system which needs to work on. Next assumption regarding the human rights. Welfare services should be provided to the people as a matter of right, which they may be able to claim. So this particular assumption says that everyone being by virtue of being human have this right, so they could ask for their own rights and then they are able to claim this. Now coming to the feature of social action. So what are the features, or you could say the characteristic of the social action? So very first is about the advocacy oriented. Social action is an organized effort directed at bringing about change in social, economic, or political structure and in their style of functioning. In order to achieve social and economic well-being, especially of the underprivileged groups, and bringing about social just social, economic, and political order. Next, about activism. This social action is about the activism. It is perceived as a method of empowering the deprived through mobilization and collective action against vested interest and against exploitation by existing power structure group. That is, maybe could be the political power, economic interest, any corporate, and against exploitation by existing power groups, like, right? So by an industry or any trade. So maybe if you're looking into the some industrial setup in the some rural areas, or some residential areas. So the pollution has been coming out from those industries is affected to the habitants or inhabitants of those areas. So that is the clean air, clean water is there, right? But that has not been fulfilled because that has been exploited by some of the elites groups, some of the some of the corporates world, some of the industrialists. So here activism is required against the ones the committee members got realized, and then they asked for the compensation, or it could be the replacement of that industry from their area, is that could be through some activism. Social justice, another very important feature of social action, because this is the core of social action. The field of social action covers a wide spectrum: political reforms to social and economic reforms, removal of injustice, social injustice, and religious intolerance, restoration of human rights, enactment of legislation, sharing of power in decision making and in benefits, protection of the environment, liberation from the stranglehold of the current mores, etc. So social justice actually is a very comprehensive aspect. It's taking all the holistically all the important ingredients which are important for the human survival. Next is about the campaigning. Social action can be directed against global universal issues like the protection of uh, and conservation of environment through action against its degradation, or more localized issues like crime, uh, sale or on alcoholic drinks, wrongful say of village community resources by dominant individuals or groups, exploitation of labor, punishment of wrongdoer, illegal felling of trees, etc. So there's lot issues which has been there, which needs to be addressed through campaign. So this is the campaigning is another important characteristic and feature of social action. Next is about the protest. So social action has element of conflict, the resolution of which may not always be through peaceful and totally non-violent means, even though violence may not be an explicitly propounded method. Civil disobedience, social action may be in some situation involves the use of the methods or pursuit of goals which are wide in scope, more comprehensive and pursued, and many go beyond the law. However, social or moral legislation of goals and methods is important. So, civil disobedience, as one of the important movements by the Mahatma Gandhi, it could also be applicable even in the current time, where the situations involve the use of methods or pursue of goal which are wide in scope. So, for the larger scope, you can go with the civil disobedience that everyone would participate, more comprehensive and futuristic and maybe beyond the law. So, it's something which is you actually today you realize, but this is going to be affect to the future. So for the larger goal, you can go with the civil disobedience movement, and it's about more about the social or moral legitimization of goals and methods in an important. So legitimization of goals is important. How you are intelligent enough to legitimize the goals is very very important and critical, because sometimes whatever you ask for is considered to be illegal or by the some power holders. So that is what the quality of yours, how you have to make it more legitimate, how to make it more you know um, um, important, how you can make it more legal for the for to actually to move with. Next is feature and then characteristic is about the mobilization. So social action movements actually require commitment of the leaders, they emotional involvement, and believe in the goals and in the means used. So mobilization is social action movements require commitment of the local leaders. So it's also important that again only the community members alone cannot bring changes into the lots of the issues and then concerns. So that time social action movements require commitment from the local leaders, their emotional involvement and belief in the goals and in the means used. So how you can actually conceptualize the issues and then problem among the masses is very tricky, is very important. And so once the community members they emotionally attached with the cause, and then even the leaders are connected with that cause, so it actually bring a lot of the mass movements. And with this mass movement and with this mobilization, you can actually be able to bring changes into the community, into the particular social structure aspect, or into any kind of subsystem of any larger system. So this is all about the features of social action. Let's talk about the principles of social action as given by the Brito in the year 1984. So principle of credibility building. So it is the task of creating public image of leadership, the organization, and then participants of the movement as champions of justice, rectitude and truth. It helps in securing the recognition from the opponents, the reference public, and then peripheral participation of the movement. Credibility, this principle of credibility building is so important. If we look into that, that until you don't develop any kind of the credibility around the cause, around the strategy, around the target, it is not easy that the masses would come and forward and would do participate. So credibility can be built through one of the following ways: gestures of goodwill towards the opponent. So as a you be the part of that any social action movement, or it's a suggestion for the committee members even once they are participating in any kind of the social movement, always show a good gesture towards the opponent. So always coming with some kind of the fighting spirit is not the right way to handling the issues and then concerns. So sometimes it's also important to always show a good gestures, good goodwill towards the opponent, that okay, this particular things we are in need of, we agree that you holding this, and we agree that maybe you don't like this, but please do understand this is what is the larger community is being affected. So through the very good statements, through nice gestures, you can actually develop a good credibility with the opponent, with the opponents. That opponent could be any government officials, it could be any agency, it could be any corporate, it could be any union. So you can go with a better developing after good credibility with the with the opponents. Example settings. So this is another way you can actually develop a credibility um, in front of the opponents, as well as with the masses. So that is what the example setting, you can show your better behavior, your better approach by putting a bit giving some nice examples. You can develop a credibility with the opponents, as well as with their own groups with whom you are working with. Selection of typical urgently felt problem for struggle. So definitely any larger, for you're working with some larger cause, so that larger cause is not going to resolve in a month or in a day or in a week. So you go with that movements with for that larger goal, but that has to break down into the smaller objectives that is more achievable and urgently felt. So sometimes like you are moving with some major cause, you're going for some major reason, but meanwhile you also identify that these are the smaller aspects also the been affected to the community. So let's first resolve these small. So by resolving smaller objectives, you can also put a nice example, and by putting nice example you will develop the credibility. Then success. Selection of typical urgently filled problems for struggle. Once you get those, you will be, in a more position to get some kind of success. So getting the success in the small objective actually develop and give you the kind of credibility in front of the opponents, as well as with your own group members with whom you are working with. Moving to the next principle. This principle is talking about principle of legitimization. This legitimization is the process of convincing the target group and then general public that the movement's objectives are morally right. The idea would be making a case for the movement as a moral imperative. So, this legitimization is about to creating a situation or developing the cause as a moral imperative, and consider that this is what uh, is a moral laden. I mean, it's having all the ethical aspect, and this idea and then this change and this cause is actually a human concern. It is a continuous process. Before launching the program, the leaders justify their actions, for what reasons they are doing this. That justification should be in front of the opponent, as well as with the masses with whom he and she is working with. So subsequently, as the conflict accelerates to higher stage, and as a leader adds new dimensions to their program, further justification is added and fresh argument are put forth. Such justifications are not done by the leaders alone. So once you develop the credibility, you will develop the cause, or the on which the whole social action has been taken around is became more legitimized, because you have developed the credibility. Now whatever the action you are going to take, have to make that action as more legitimate, as more action oriented, as more target oriented. So in everyday the new things has been emerged into the whole social action aspect or movement. So every day you have to with the new as the leaders, or you can add, or if you add any new perspective, new dimensions into the whole movement, you always give the justification of that new dimension. because again, if any time new dimension added without any justification, the credibility will be loose. So this credibility should be always been there and been intact with the whole throughout the movements. In the course of the their participation, followers too contribute to the legitimization process. Following the three approaches to legitimization, how you can legitimize that: theological and religious approach to legitimization. As a Rani Banerjee once said, that for the Indian context, religious approach is considered to be very acceptable approach, because many a time we are so much um, uh, we are, our belief system are so strong. So if you actually justify your statement, justify your goal or your action through some kind of the religious approach, or through some kind of the theological approach, it is more suited, and this became more legitimized. See that this is as per like what the Bhagavad Gita has said, what the Quran has mentioned, what the Bible has mentioned. So through this you can actually develop a more credibility among the masses, and creating and developing your goal as more legitimized from the religious point of view. Moral approach to legitimization. Even sometimes some issues are more morally addressed or morally identified, maybe in the matter of the economic aspect, in the matter of the maybe the environment. So your moral aspects could be more that we have to keep our environment safe for our future. So this is what somehow is about the morality of present day for the future generation, that how and what kind of the environment we are leaving for the future generation. So same whether you can attach your objectives and then cause with the morality. So with this moral attachment to the morality actually gives the legitimization. This is particularly we are working for this cause. This is going to affect to the larger masses, to everyone belong to. And so this what create and develop that goal, that process as more legitimate. Then legal technical approach to legitimization. Then the third aspect, sometime and this is more you could say the professional way or mode of legitimizing your cause and legitimizing the overall the process. Once you relate whatever you are working with, you are going with a legal technical approach, means legally this is approved, government the law of the state is supporting this is what we are asking for as per the policy, as per the program. And then this is technologically or technically this is more sound. So this is another way to actually making your cause more legitimate. So one thing is through religious approach, second is through some kind of the moral approach, third thing is through some legal approach. At the same time, one cause, one problem, one process could be all three, you can make it legitimized. Maybe it is more legally approved, it is religiously approved, maybe it has all the anything which is many times it's anything is religiously approved, it's always having a lot of the moral laden and having all the moral values along with. Next principle is about the principle of dramatization. See, dramatization is the principle of mass mobilization by which the leaders of a movement actually galvanize the population into action by emotional appeals to heroism, sensitization, news management, novel procedures, pungent slogans, and such other techniques. Almost every leader mobilization, the masses uses the principle of dramatization. All the leaders are somewhere actually using the dramatization, sometimes using some emotional statements, some religious statements even, so just to develop the kind of connection with the masses. And then actually all through all this dramatization, acting, heroism, sensational news management, and we see that how this whole social media and then media has been used to actually impact to the masses and to developing some kind of the social reality which is be there or may not be there. So by through all this using media, using some any new kind of approaches, dramatization could be possible. So until you cannot make the cause and then process uh, related to the masses, the any movements cannot be successful. So social action even need kind of mass support, mass mobilization. And this mass support and mass mobilization could be possible through by creating that cause, that issue as more dramatically more sound. Dramatically means need not to be very prominently that you have to do the dramatic, rather make it some dramatically methods and approach to make it more acceptable and suitable to the masses. Next, it's about the mechanism of the dramatization. How you can use a different, kind of methods to make anything more dramatically sound, like use of songs. Sometimes some folk songs, folklores are considered to be so nicely, develop your cause, approachable and accessible by the masses, because they take it more, more easily. They connected with the cause. The masses would connect with the cause. The masses would connect with the, and we all seen that all this whole song war is going on in the our political arena. Powerful speeches. A good leader have always having this charismatic speech. So powerful speeches sometimes, with all kind of the dramas, with all kind of the slogans, with all kind of, um, hitting the heat means what actually the community wants to listen. So you just have to speak about. So with all this, you can actually dramatize, or you can actually, call make the cause more relevant to the masses. The role of women. So here, I mean, here the role of the women is means creating any issue and cause relate to the women. So for that, women would be come forward and then do participate. Even the leader is women, so the rest of the women would definitely be connected to that cause. Then boycott. Sometime, um, you know, boycotting something actually gives a kind of strong statement, that without speaking anything, you just boycotting something, you have actually giving in a strong statement, or it's a kind of, gesturing around some facts that you're not okay with this, you're not liking this. Through this also you can actually giving messages to the opponents as well as to the masses, that we have to go with this. As like we have seen that how Gandhi ji has boycott, the movement was successful, that boycotting the all the products being produced by the British, and so that impacting their economic aspect, as well as it was also a symbolic movement, that we are not accepting your products, we are capable enough of our own, products, we are capable of, we can produce our own. So that is what the boycott. So boycott is also through that, without adding so much words into that, through your gestures, through your actions, you can actually mobilize the masses, or you can actually present your word in front of your the opponents. Slogans is always, as like the songs and then powerful speeches is go along with the slogans. So slogans like beti padhao, beti bachao, and there's a lot of slogans is been there. So that's actually you connected with, some kinds of the slogans, and man ki baat. I mean, our leader has actually always giving some kind of the slogans, believing into that the one statements, one poetic statement is more easy to make the masses connected with cause. Next principle is about the principle of multiple strategies. There are two basic approaches of to development, conflictual and then non-conflictual. Either you go with any kind of the conflicts if it is required, and you can go with the non-conflicts if it is not required. So taking the main thrust of the program, one can classify it as political, economic, or social. So the basket principle in this principle indicates the adoption of the multiple strategy using combined approaches, and also combination of different types of the program. So many a time you go with some economic aspect, but this also affected some social aspect. So for that reason, multiple strategies required, because you are actually working on some social structure aspect, or bringing some try to bring some change in the social system. So only going with some strategy is not going to resolve the whole or hit the cause. That you have to go with the multiple strategies. This is always better suggestions to go with more holistic, more multiple integrated strategies, because as the problem are interlinked, interwoven to each other. So, principle of multiple strategy. Let's talk about, as Zeltman has talked and Duncan has identified four developmental strategies that support this principle. One is educational strategies, persuasive strategies, facilitative strategy, and a power strategy. So, what is this educational strategy? So, in this strategy, the prospective participants are educated at the individual, group, and mass level. People or targeted groups are given necessary information about the issues by creating awareness about and motivated and persuaded to participation in the movement. Education by demonstration is an important aspect of this principle. So, education strategy is through providing the education and awareness. One can be attached to that program. So, education by demonstration is an important aspect of the principle. That is what, just not as a classroom teaching you have to educate them, rather it's about the edutainment. So through some kind of the entertainment also you can educate to the masses and to relate the masses with the causes. Persuasive strategy is about is the adaptation of a set of action. Persuasive strategy is the adaptation of set of action and procedure to bring about changes by reasoning, urging and inducing others to accept a particular viewpoint. So at every rally, stress was laid on winning new converts by artillery and gentle presentation of arguments. So persuasive strategy, you have to be good enough in pursue your cause and to make it more legitimized. Next is facilitative strategy. This refers to set of procedure and activities to facilitate the participation of all section of society in the mass movement. It in like salt satyagraha by Gandhiji did not go into the technicalities of salt making. He simply asked the followers to make consumption or consumable salt by boiling the seawater. Its simplicity did facilitate greater participation. So, facilitative strategy, how to facilitate any program, maybe through some simpler mode or putting some kind of the right examples in front of the your masses. Then power strategy. It involves the use of coercion to obtain the desired objectives. The form of coercion may vary. Gandhiji used social, ostracism as one of the technique of power strategy. So power strategy is not always, putting pressure on the opponents. Rather, you can also go some through some non-violent mode and putting some kind of the pressure through some non-violence as well, like boycott movement, and also this power strategy is putting some kind of the power to the opponents. So that power could be from the masses. I mean that if you go with some masses, so that is itself is putting some kind of the power. So these are the Zeltman and Duncan has talked about these four strategies that support this principle of multiple strategies. Then principle of dual approach. So any activist has to build counter systems or revise some unusual system, which is thought to be beneficial for the mobilizing public on self-help basis without involving the opponent. This is natural requirement consequent upon the attempt to destroy the system established, maintained by the opponents. Gandhian constructive work program performs such as function in small measures together with conflictual programs of Satyagraha. This cooperative efforts indicate that Gandhiji adopted or attempt to a dual approach in the mobilization. So, as the problem is to bring changes into the overall system, because there's some unusuality happening in the system. So you have to go with the plan A along with the plan B. At the same time, you have to mobilize the larger masses, and you can also involve to the core groups with some kind of the strategies to develop. So this dual approach is talking about that with the multiple strategy, you have to go with some kind of the dual approach, maybe some conflicting and non-conflicting approach altogether together. Next is the principle of manifold programs. It means developing a variety of programs with the ultimate objective of mass mobilization. This can be broadly categorized into three parts: social, economic, and political programs. So this is the three areas usually we worked on. So Dr. Rajendra Singh has taken up the issue of water conservation as a composite manifold program. His water conservation helped the villagers, particularly women, who had to go miles to fetch water. So it helped in better development of crops, better animal husbandry, implying more economic benefits. During the movement, there were direct and indirect conflict resolution with the local leaders happened, panchayat bodies and state government. So, with this all, with this one kind of the program is actually manifold many aspects of the social life and the welfare of the community as well. So, initially, for this program also, Dr. Rajendra Singh has also encountered some kind of the conflict, some kind of the direct or indirect conflict with the some policymakers or with the some local leaders or panchayat bodies. So even though he overcome with those and then actually became successful into this. So this is all about the today's session of the principles of social action, assumptions of the social actions, and then the kind of the the overall aspects of understanding of the social action.